This segment is being sponsored by Capital Sportsman.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This week's Picture of the Week is being brought to you by these fine folks we have in studio with us tonight. Flowers Deer Processing. Jim, y'all are about ready, aren't you? Come on, man. Give me a nod. Yeah, we're
He's tired from sharpening knives and all that. He's wore out.
I got 4 dozen knives I got to sharpen. so, hey, any of you, I got you a couple of youngsters that said they'd love to come down there and skin for a day. Come on, Jim says, come on. Hey, I'm going to tell you, Deacon and Archie, I'm going to take them down there and sit with them, and I want them to skin for a day.
I think it'd be good for them. It would be good for a lot of people.
But about 15 minutes. All right, this week's pictures are. Now, here is a good friend of mine's son. This is Billy Blakely's son, Jack. Opening day of squirrel season last Saturday over at Reelfoot Lake. And he got his limit. I'm telling you, that's awesome.
They had a good morning.
They had a great morning. I'm telling you.
The
Jack
trees were
is
shaking.
awesome. Anyway, Jack's going to wind up being better than his daddy on that crappie fishing. But just so you know, Jack, we're behind you, brother. That's Billy Blakely's son from Reelfoot Lake. And we thank Billy for sending that notes to us. Our next one is what?
We've got a nice bass here that was sent in to us. It was from Derek Gann, and he said that he caught this fish on Center Hill, but he said he was kind of struggled throughout that day, but he did come out with a couple of good fish and wanted to share that one with us. That's a nice fish.
Jim Flowers, you better get over here and look at this fish. You better find out what his GPS coordinates are.
Yeah, I recognize that water right there.
Yeah, Jim needs to he needs to find some fish on Center Hill. Our next one here. Hey, these are 2 boys that we just really, really love. This is Deacon Blair on your left and Archie Faircloth on your right.
Good boys right there.
We had a good time with them.
We had a big time taking them hunting Saturday morning.
Now, Archie started us off with a swing and a miss.
He did. I got him in there. I told him, I said, I can't guarantee a kill. I just guarantee a shot. But no, he redeemed himself on the next one. He did good.
And by the way, we want to thank Roy Denny for allowing us to come out there and
Roy opened up his farm for us.
Sure
and that means so much these days for somebody to let you come in.
And let me tell you something, Roy Denny's a big advocate of getting these kids involved in hunting, and he's also one of the main presidents for the NRA chapter there in Lebanon. So tell him you heard his name here. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. And then our next one here.
Okay, we got Connor Edwards here, and you know he sent us a couple of pictures a few weeks ago. I mean, this kid is crazy with a bow on these fish, man. I mean,
now I can't see it real well. Is that an Asian carp?
You know, to be honest, because we can't tell that well from here, I'm not sure if it's a Asian carp or a buffalo or what it is, but it is a big fish, and he shoots a lot of them with that bow. He's good with it.
He's good with that bow.
Yeah, they're real big into the bow fishing.
And then I'm gonna let you tell this next one. Who is that? What's he doing?
Well, this is my little man right here. This is my son Neelan, and we were out planting some food plots this past week, and I take him just like his sister. I take him wherever I go. He just gets to go with me. You know, it's that kind of deal. And we were planting, and he wasn't having me plant without him, so I took some seed out of that spreader and put it in that bucket, and he walked around and he planted turnips and wheat with that bucket. So he had a big time getting out there and getting involved with me. And you know, again, I've had Emery out there just about as long. And
how old is he?
He's 2 years old.
So
he just turned 2.
You start him off at 2?
Yeah, I had her in a deer blind at about 2.5, and I mean, it was loud, and we sat there and made all kind of noise and probably run every deer in the woods off. But I had her in the blind, and she absolutely ate up with it. So
that's awesome. All right, you can send your pictures to us here at 474 James Robinson Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee 37219, or simply Facebook us at Southern Woods and Waters, and we'll get them on here really fast. By the way, we appreciate all of those pictures coming in. So, hey, we're talking tonight. Been a lot of talk about Tennessee reverting to a 1 buck limit. And I think it all kind of stems from the Tucker buck and being able to see a huge world-class deer come out of Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think it created a fever through the
Oh, yeah.
deer hunters.
Everybody wants that next one
Everybody
now.
wants one. I mean, you know, I want to take one home. You know, so how can we get there more rapidly? So a lot of them want to hear what we got to say about a $1 limit.
Well, I'll.
Now you talk to me from a biology standpoint.
I'll tell you my thoughts on it. Well, from a biology standpoint, I'm behind the boys in green always, and you know that.
Oh, yeah.
If we needed to go to a $1 limit, then they would set a $1 limit.
Already done.
If we needed a $10 limit, then they'd set a $10 limit. So you got to remember that these guys are out there every day doing this, and they're establishing limits according to what they see and the data that they get, which is why I always harp on, you know, check-ins and giving them as much data as you can, especially when they work the check stations and stuff like that, because that's where their information comes from. It comes from us.
Yeah.
Now, just as far as a hunter standpoint, to be honest, and a lot of the other so-called trophy hunters that I'm friends with, they'll disagree with me, but I am not for a $1 limit. I don't think that it is needed. I think that, you know, we can manage on our own according to how we want. I think $2 limit is plenty good enough. As a matter of fact, the Tucker buck was shot under a $2 limit. We have to keep that in mind. You know, there's a $2 limit when he was shot, and over the last, you know, 10 years, say, even, a lot more mature deer have been shot, and a lot of those were shot under a $3 limit. So I think it's more so people understanding now, not only that we can do it, that's one thing the Tucker buck does. It says, hey man, you know, these deer can grow right here. It can be done, but there's not necessarily needs to be a $1 limit to allow it to be done. I know some states do that and it works for them, and if TWRA ever wanted it, you know, I'd stand behind them. But
just a minute, Brandon, because you're saying, okay, we got a neighboring state, we got Kentucky, and Kentucky has a $1 limit. The problem being, if somebody accidentally shoots one that you wouldn't consider a trophy buck, do you think it gets checked in?
I would imagine there's probably a lot of them that don't.
Now I'm gonna say that honest hunter was gonna do it. He's gonna say, I mean, messed up.
You know, I'd say it happens.
I'll eat it. You know, I'll turn it in. But how many don't get recorded?
I mean, I would say it happens. I would say it happens in any state. That's not just to point our finger at a $1 state.
No.
But I would say there might be a higher likelihood there, because he only has that one, you know, that $1, that one chance to shoot one.
I know the humane thing to do is even if you saw a buck that was limping, you know, or had some physical injury, had been hit by a car or something like that, the humane thing would be is it's in pain, let's take it out of the herd. You know, we'll use the resource to feed our family. Some of those get left.
Probably so. I mean, I think there's a series of bad that could come out of it, in my opinion. I'm not going to say it would all be bad. There's some people that are just dead set for it, you know, and I'm not saying it would be bad. I just don't think it's something that we need. I don't think it's something that we need right now. I really don't.
We're going to touch on it a little bit more, but now we got to do our product of the week. This week's product of the week is being sponsored by Caney Fork Outdoors, the River Runners. We got Jim Flowers in the house. He was AOY last year for Tennessee River Runners, and we appreciate Jim being in the studio with us. And this week's, you can check him out. Donaldson Plaza Shopping Center is where Ryan is, and I tell you what, he's ready to sell those kayaks. He does have camouflage ones too, ladies and gentlemen. Great way to sneak to some of these islands and some of this stuff. Now, you might need a bigger boat if you kill a trophy, but it'll also get you in there and be real quiet about doing it. And so duck hunting too. I was thinking about using one for duck season,
get into some tight good spots.
I don't even have to tell him I'm coming.
If you need to haul a big deer out of there, he'll sell you 2 of them. You can get you a second one and use that for your hauler.
The fine folks at Hunter Safety Systems, and I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, this is the way to stay safe in a tree.
And comfortable.
Now, let me tell you something. Hunter Safety System told me to tell you, once your foot leaves the ground, this needs to be attached in a 3-point hitch going up, either ascending or descending out of a tree. You will come home to your family if you do.
That's right.
Keep this thing on. It's not hot. It's got, and it's even got it. This is the hybrid, and it's got that what do they call it? A lemon shield.
I've been filling my little pockets up already, getting.
Well,
getting
this
ready to
lemon
go.
shield keeps your odor down. It actually kills BO. I couldn't think of anywhere else to put it.
Best
but
way
BO,
you can
that's
put
what
it.
it is.
I mean,
When you sweat it, that's bacteria. Well, this actually kills it. So you can't use this as well. It stinks. No, it doesn't. It's just great. It's got pockets in here for everything you might need. It's got little clips in here for you to carry things by. You can put your compass. Lord, if you're bow hunters, if you're not using a compass, I'm going to be mad at you. That's the only way to hunt and know where your deer went to. Also, they come with a deer drag. Did you know that?
They do. I've got one of their other systems that I've used for years, and I couldn't tell you how many times I've used that drag. So
that drag is
it is a lifesaver.
That's the way to drag them out, buddy. Hey, we're going to have to take a quick break, visit some of our fine sponsors, but we'll be right back with more Southern Woods and Waters.